if you care about the patient, you got to look at data. When they come in and you say you need a root canal and you schedule them a week away, how many don't come back in?
A lot.
A lot. Life happens. They have their mom, cars, the cat ran away. Who knows? But you have to do same day dentistry. Do you agree or disagree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we have to look at what the patient wants and what's best for their health, and we have to stop thinking about what's convenient for our schedule. We have to be set up ahead of time so that we can handle those same day patients.
The funniest thing is if you go on downtown on the political threads, which we don't show on the exact topics, all these right-wing conservatives bitching about all these entitled people. They're the most entitled people in the world. They're entitled to an hour lunch, leave at 5 o'clock. How many lunches have you guys missed in your lifetime?
A lot.
The last 5.
Yeah. Could you imagine a fireman showing up to fire? Well, let's not get the hose out.
And I'm still gaining weight.
So, and then the operatories all different. They say they don't have a room. Well, what is this room? Well, this is just an exam room. But we need a room that has one more piece of equipment. It's like, are you insane? So talk about tips about.
You want to have an emergency. The number one thing, and Jake and I, we say the same things.
Yeah.
You want an emergency. You want to be able to set up. You know, in the early days of the country, they had Minutemen. You had to be able to get your gun, get ready to fight in 1 minute. That's a Minuteman. You've got to be able to set your op up in 1 minute. You know, you don't need to wait 10, 15 minutes to do an endo or a crown prep. You need to be able to set it up in 1 minute. And your burr block. You need the same burrs on every block, and they need to be in the same order. And when they get dull, throw them away. You throw them away. Your assistants don't know when to throw your burrs away. You throw them away. And because you don't want to, you want to be efficient. You don't want to slow down. You have to do same day dentistry. So that means you have to be able to do your dentistry in less time.
Yeah, and how long does a senior dental student spend prepping a crown? How much burr on the tooth time is there? I've seen you talk about this before.
I think...
Is that 4 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, so the rest of it is organization and it's set up. I work 3.5 days a week clinically, and the staff is there 5. And what they're doing in that day and a half I'm not there is they're setting up what you called speed packs, where we have cord pre-cut. All the disposables are in a bag. Everything's color-coded by tray by procedure. All the specialty procedures are on carts. There's a tray that we can pull out of the first drawer that's set up for that procedure. So if we see somebody that comes in for their hygiene appointment and they're like, oh, by the way, this tooth started hurting and it's got a big draining sinus tract on it, we can take them to the next chair or take them in that chair and we can roll the cart in there and we're set up to do an endo in 30 seconds.
And that's the way the firemen get out with all their stuff ready to go.
Absolutely. But that just takes a little bit of time when there's not patients there. You have to set up for that ahead of time. And I see too many offices where they send staff home the second the patients are done and they don't want to pay an extra minute of hourly wage. But it's killing them because they've lost the endo build-up crown or the immediate implant or whatever it happens to be day in and day out. And that patient ends up in another office, or they go buy a new iPhone because it stops hurting, we gave them an antibiotic or whatever. The best time to treat them is that day. It's best for the patient, it's best for us.
Do you have to pay staff for continuing education? It's like, what was your next dumbest question?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, most dentists...
What would you say? What?
I said, what bonding agent? That's the next
one.
Most dentists never take the time to sit down with their staff and, you're going to hand me this, I'm going to do this, and you're going to do that, and choreograph themselves and train.
And mom had to leave work, go pick up the kids from school, bring them in for a cleaning. Megan needs an MOD filling, and you have to reschedule it?
Yeah, it's crazy. Insane.
And so it's about a third chance you're never going to see it done.
That's right. You have to do
or when it is done, it's a root canal. And number 2, they say, well, we can't do it here because this is the hygiene room. So that's just stupid. And then number 3, lazy dentist. Well, it's almost lunch hour, and I'm Dr. Lazy Lardass is always going to take an hour off for lunch, or it's the end of the day. And that's why I'm going to say something that's controversial. Never hire an associate unless they're married with a stay-home wife and kids, because that hungry son of a gun gets to work an hour early, works through lunch, stays late. You get a single guy with no student loans, a little daddy did it, and he's running back to swipe on Tinder, and when you say, we got a toothache, they could be down here in 30 minutes, he's already got a date at the bar. My dad used to tell me, if you see 5 hungry coyotes walking down a dirt field, something's going to die. And you get hungry, so I don't even like it. I don't even want to talk to the associate with no student loans. I want to all student loan, big $500,000, stay home wife. Mormons are my favorite because you know his wife's going to have like 12, 15 children, live in a shoe. That guy will take everything he diagnosed on hygiene and do it on the side. And then I say, well, what is your big problem? No shows and cancellations. So you just sent this person home because you got an appointment
You're right about
in
that.
10 minutes, and that person didn't even show up.
Mary Jane got pregnant 6 times. I had to become efficient.
Well, and I think the fear of doing stuff same day comes from the stress of setting up. We didn't have this on the schedule. We didn't go over it in the huddle. If everything's set up ahead of time and the team's all trained, it's 30 seconds. It doesn't take any time. You know, you can always squeeze that in, but the stress level goes completely down when you've just taken a day or two to train everybody and get a system in place.
Okay, thanks you guys for coming on the show.
Thank you for
And,
creating Dental Town.
and when you're with 2 bald beauties, we made him wear a hat. I mean, just cover that gnarly shut up.